Welcome to the best ep yet of the Prattle. It is episode 13. It is the evening of Thursday, March 29. Today we've got some things to share with you all. We're going to cover some NCAA basketball, both men and women. We're going to do some MLB again, believe it or not. And we've got a good luck with that to talk about, which will lead us into the topic of team dominance in sports. We finish up topics with the NBA and have a fun segment at the end for you all. So let's get into it. Fellas, we have the Final Four this weekend. But also, we have college athletes declaring for the draft and also high school athletes committing or finding other ways around the NCAA. Wes, you want to explain that real quick?
Yes, so big news. 5-star Syracuse commit Darius Bazley decommitted from Syracuse today and says that he plans to enter the G League. And now, I think this is a really big deal. This could start a trend for high school athletes to avoid the NCAA altogether, get paid while they're doing it, and enter the NBA more experienced and as a professional. What do you guys think about this? This is a big deal.
Yeah, Wes, man, it is a big deal, and it kind of reminds me of back before 2005 when, the guys could just go straight to the pros out of high school. One thing that's a little bit concerning to me, and maybe it's a little bit selfish, but I'm a huge college basketball fan, man. And I don't want these top-tier talent guys being taken away from college basketball. However, I do understand that it's a struggle for these kids. They don't want to be there, okay? They know that at least these top echelon guys, most of them, are going to go to the pros anyways. Why not make it quicker? I don't know about that, but Pop, what do you think?
I think it's a smart choice. I'm not a big fan of the NCAA. I think they're a bunch of greedy people that don't care about their product. And I think if you want to go to the NBA and go right into like a developmental league like the G League, you should be allowed to. I know you're allowed to, but it should be encouraged because NCAA is not treating their players right. If it comes down to this, if this is the option that these high school kids have to do, I'm for it.
Yeah, the NCAA has taken advantage of these kids for far too long, and it's about time. These kids are finding more ways to get around this rule and to get in the NBA, which is really where they belong. I really like what Marvin Bagley did. What's the word? He was
Reclassified?
Reclassified, right. He reclassified, so he should have been in high school, but he went and had his first year at Duke, and now he's declared for the draft. You also have LeVar Ball proposing an idea for a new developmental league where he would pay players $100,000 to play for a year, and then they can enter the NBA. You have kids going to Lithuania, obviously. And listen, this move by Darius Bazley is a big sacrifice. He's not going to get the college experience. He's not going to get any education. He's not going to get the chicks. He's going to go play in a G League in some rundown arena, and he's only going to make $26K doing it.
Wes, man, he's not making any sort of sacrifice by skipping college. Bazley, he knows he's a great player, and he wants to go straight to the NBA, which, I understand, okay? You don't want to go through college. However, the NBA is not thinking about their kids in this. They are thinking about their product. If you think about the top high school players that have gotten drafted, you think of obviously the amazing talent that you had, like a Kobe Bryant, a LeBron James, or even a Kevin Garnett. However, there were lots of also high school guys that did not pan out in the NBA. In fact, out of the 36 players that put their name in the hat coming out of high school, 4 of them even went undrafted. They didn't even get drafted at all, and you'd never heard of these guys. And the most notable bust, maybe ever, Kwame Brown. He came out of high school and thought he'd be the next thing, and he wasn't, because you saw him playing against 18-year-olds in high school, not 1 year at the Division I level. the NCAA does not care, or I'm sorry, the NBA does not care about the kids. They care about their teams not getting screwed over, not getting these big busts. That's what I think.
I'll tell you who's going to care about this a lot. The NCAA for sure. If they're going to have a trend where their very best product is completely bypassing the NCAA altogether, they're going to panic. If anything's going to change the pay the players issue, it's going to be this. It's not going to be the Jay Billises of the world saying you got to pay them, and all this. It's going to be the NCAA losing their product. I would love it if this became a trend. I would love it if the one and done guys from Duke and Kentucky would do the same thing. Of course, they'd have to take a pay cut, but I would love it.
Speaking of one and dones, I think the NCAA is already like starting to get nervous about that. I mean, they're losing. Like, what they're doing to these kids is not fair, and I think, it just bugs me so much that they're taking advantage of these kids just for their own benefit. Honestly, you high school kids, go and get yours. Go do what you need to do. Don't listen to the people telling you, go to college, go to college. Do what you need to do. If you're good enough to make the NBA, go to the G League. Just do it.
I do like the fact that they're not getting their name put into the draft. I do like the fact that they're kind of going to the G League. It's kind of like baseball to me in a sense that you have kind of these development leagues. I think it's kind of a good way to meet in the middle, in between going straight to the NBA and staying at least 1 year in college. And yeah, I agree, Pop. I think the NCAA are exploiting their players, and it's getting to the point where it's a little bit ridiculous. And the fact that this Darius Bazley kid that was going to go to Syracuse, play for a great coach, Jim Boeheim, play for the Orange, he's like, you know what? I think I'm going to get mine. And sometimes you have to be selfish like that. And the kid is doing what he needs to do, and I respect him for that.
Yeah, that makes sense there. I do like the players taking it into their own hands to get past the NCAA. Obviously, they know it's a system that they probably don't want to be in. I mean, as fun as college is and everything, and I'm sure it's the life for a basketball player, but it is not quite like the NBA, and it is a workload, and you're not getting paid, and you still technically have to do the schoolwork. So I love players trying to find ways around it. The only issue I see with this is that these kids are 19, 18, 20 sometimes, and they're playing against the best players in the world if they get up to the NBA. And so I think skipping your NCAA career there really puts you at a disadvantage in terms of like growing and being able to be somebody like you can tell on the Jazz, Donovan Mitchell really benefited from his years in college. And then you see guys like the first one that comes to mind for me is Thon Maker on the Bucks. He was really hyped up, and now he's a role player just because he's straight out of high school.
Yeah, that's good. Now let's talk on the other side of college basketball. Believe it or not, the women have a Final Four as well. So who we've got in the Final Four? Louisville, Mississippi State, Notre Dame, and of course UConn. So for Louisville, Mississippi State, and Notre Dame, good luck with that.
Yeah, I hope the tournament was fun so far because it's going to end real soon. And I don't know if you can even play games thinking that you're going to win against UConn.
Yeah,
Imagine that. Going through all that tournament just to face UConn in the Final Four, not even get to the championship.
And get blown out by 40.
Exactly.
Yeah, everybody knows UConn is a dynasty. Gino Auriemma, the head coach, has 11, I think, national titles since 1995, which is just, oh my goodness. It's really wild to see. It's really unparalleled across sports, and I'm really not sure if it's good for the sport or not. There,
So obviously, this is probably the most extreme example of dominance in sports. But then I think one that comes to mind, like another example of that, is the Red Sox and the Yankees in the MLB. We're going to touch on the MLB later, but you see, I mean, my knowledge from this, honestly, was given to me from the movie Moneyball, where you have the players on their small contracts, they do good, and then they go to the Yankees, or they go to the Red Sox.
Deans, is this the extent of your MLB knowledge comes from the movie Moneyball, probably, pretty much?
And backyard baseball,
Backyard baseball. There's no Pablo Sanchez in the league, and there never will be. I'll tell you that right now.
unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately. I would watch every single game, that is for sure. Yes, I agree that you have these small market teams in the MLB, and they just can't compete with the Red Sox and Yankees of the world. But I think that's different than the UConn women. Yes, sure, they're dominant, the Red Sox and the Yankees, but the UConn women have been to 14 straight Final Fours. What? What? That's so insane. And the fact if they ever lose a game during the regular season, it's like, what did they do wrong, you know? And they get the top recruits, but they don't get all the top. I mean, they're not like Duke this year, you know? They have the one and like the sixth recruit I think I saw for UConn. So I agree that the Red Sox and the Yankees are dominant. However, I think a better example maybe would be from way back long ago, the Celtics of the 60s with Bill Russell. I think the difference between then and now is there was no athleticism back then. Bill Russell was a 6'8" center, and he leads all NBA rebounding categories. You know, it's just a different game. The fact that the UConn women are doing this at this day and age is incredible.
Toby, do you think it hurts the sport at all with these dominant teams?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I think the fact that there's the UConns of the world, that makes the other teams strive to be the UConns of the world. And the fact that they keep getting beaten down, it makes them work harder. You see Mississippi State last year had a breakthrough with that game-winning shot in the semis. And when that happens, the feeling is amazing. I feel like taking down a giant, being David and taking down Goliath like that, is such a great story. I think it's huge for the sport. Hey, honestly, think about this, Pop. Would we be talking about with the women's Final Four on the Prattle if not for the UConn women?
no.
Right?
You're right.
Absolutely. So they give the UConn women gives us something to talk about, and the publicity is huge for women's sports because whether it be unfair or not, they just obviously get about 1% of the press that the men's sports do.
Well, I agree, Toby. There really isn't much to hurt as far as relevance-wise because they are the relevance. The greatness is so consistent in just every single year you can count on them. And like you said, if they lose a game, you're like, what in the world happened? What went wrong?
Right.
And to me, they're basically a farm team for the WNBA.
Mm-hmm.
It is really cool to watch, but as far as relevance-wise, how many people are watching? So if we're really concerned about the product of the sport and how UConn influences that, to me, they are the product. So it really doesn't matter.
Right. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. And I've got the top 100 pulled up here for the women's side, and there are only 2 UConn players in the top. 1 second. From what I can see, in the top 100. Yeah, there are only 2 UConn women in the top 100, and there are 2 Michigan women in the top 100. It's insane. Gino Auriemma, everybody's like, oh, of course they're going to go to UConn. All the top recruits going to go to UConn. That's just not true. The fact that Gino Auriemma has been able to have this just straight dominance year after year after year after year is just amazing. And in fact, there's 3 players going to Michigan. So there's more top 100 recruits going to Michigan than there are UConn. And I guarantee you if they were to play, Michigan would not win.
So I think another lesser example of this, I agree. I think it's good for the brand. Some lesser examples of this would be like the Patriots dominating an NFL. Obviously, it's not nearly as much as UConn, but I think the Patriots being so good this year in the Super Bowl was what what made the Super Bowl super fun to watch. You saw the Eagles upset the Patriots. You saw an NFL team upset another NFL team. And then in the NBA, you got all this surrounding the Cavs and the Warriors in the finals because they just dominate the playoffs in the regular season. At least they did previously. And I think that was good for it. I think people enjoyed watching the games more. I think the only thing that sucks is when you have other good teams that don't get the recognition that they maybe should. But I'd say that's a decent sacrifice for the product that gets put out.
Deans, I have a question for you, being the NBA fan, and you bring up the Cavs and the Warriors. I would argue that it makes the finals more interesting. I think everybody's watching those 4 to 7 games in the finals, but I think it makes the playoffs leading up to the finals less interesting, especially this past 3 years. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. It wasn't even fun to watch the Cavs or the Warriors series.
Right.
There was the one game that the Cavs had against the Celtics where IT wasn't even in, where they somehow won on Avery Bradley's like bank shot 3 or something.
Yep.
But I think, okay, so here's the positives from like the Warriors. They try to set their win record every regular season. I think that's fun to follow. They're blowing out the Spurs in regular season games, like the second best team in the West. Last year I'm talking. But then, yeah, you see the cons where, like, you have the Blazers with Damian Lillard, like, trying his heart out, putting up 40, and then getting swept by the Warriors. And then even in the conference finals against the Rockets, like, are you kidding me? They swept the Rockets 4-0.
Right.
Like that. Like, honestly, I can say that I watched the Rockets Thunder in the first round. Thunder's my team. And then after that, it was, I don't even remember.
Did you watch any
But
of the Celtics Cavs
I was gonna say
series?
I watched the probably 2 or 3 games.
Yeah.
I did see the one that they won.
Right.
But I did not watch any of the Warriors games leading up to the finals.
Right.
At least not the whole thing, because it was just ugly.
Mm-hmm.
But then, yeah, you get the greatest product you could get in the finals.
Definitely.
I want to relate that back to what TCB said earlier about how other teams are striving to be like the UConns. This year in the NBA, we're seeing other teams striving to be like Golden State. We see the Rockets go out and get a star. We see just bigger names coming up. I think that's
Thunder.
what's the Thunder, duh. And that's that's changed the whole game. It's this whole season, in fact. The Rockets are in first place in the West. Who would have thought? And
Right.
I think that's great for sports. Having one dynasty for only 3 years really pushed the sport and to produce great product, great teams, and it's been an awesome season. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, true, Pop. So you saw the Warriors season last season in the regular season, and then you see Houston in first, and then between 4th and 10th in the West, there's a 4-game difference. Like, that's how good the other teams have gotten. New Orleans has AD and Boogie now. Like, all these teams are going for the super team status to try to compete with Golden State. Unfortunately, it leaves to garbage teams on the bottom. But now you're going to see some playoff matchups where you're probably not going to see 4-0 sweeps all the way through. And that's due to the Golden State Warriors being the super team for the last 3 years.
Right.
Pushing the other teams to get their big 3 that you have to have nowadays.
Right. That's exactly what I'm talking about. The dominance helping. the league, right? I mean, maybe not when you're like, oh, it's going to be the Cavs and the Warriors every year. But guess what? Behind the scenes, you got these players working hard. You got these teams scheming to see how we can beat these guys. And then you have this product this year, which I think it is arguably the best product of regular season basketball that we've seen in a very long time. And that's just really cool. And like you said, you can contribute that very much to the Warriors and the Cavs' success.
Yeah, for sure. Do we have anything else to say on dominance in sports?
Go whoever UConn's playing.
Yeah, right.
No, go UConn.
Oh, okay.
All right, we want to get into some MLB. Opening day.
Opening day, baby. I just want to say, the baseballs are juiced this season.
Stay woke.
Stay woke. Don't at me on that. Very first pitch of opening day, a home run.
See ya.
Coincidence? No.
Hey, listen, the MLB needs something to make people watch, right?
Oh yeah. It's a dying product, sadly, because baseball is a American's pastime.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, what a beautiful day. Happy opening day, everyone. You could smell it in the air. You've got hot dogs on the grill. You're at the ballpark. Baseball's back. And, I'm just so excited for baseball. I watched a total of 3 pitches, I think. I turned it on and got bored with it real quick.
Wes, is that a record?
That's a record for me so far. I'm going to try to work into it.
I like that.
But just something fun to think about. Giancarlo Stanton on pace for over 300 home runs.
Oh, shit.
Just saying.
Hey, he could do it. He honestly
He
could
do it. What's stopping him?
Hey, listen, he's playing in that Yankee Stadium. Obviously, the porch is short in right field, but he can hit it anywhere he wants, let's be honest.
It's short everywhere there.
It's short everywhere. Exactly. It's particularly short and right. But, yeah, you're right. I think he's going to drop 60 bombs this year at least, dude.
Hey, maybe that dominance is going to help Aaron Judge. Maybe they're just going to tag team for maybe 1,000 home runs.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Well, I mean, they could, when Judge was a little bit more dominant there, they could kind of pitch around him. If you pitch around Aaron Judge, you're getting Giancarlo Stanton up. So I don't think they're going to be doing much of that anymore.
fellas,
Yeah.
between Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton, over under 90 combined home runs.
Oh, my, way over.
Over.
No, not way over. You said 90?
Yeah.
I'll say 101 on the dot. Mark it down.
Ooh. Okay.
I think that's a great pick there. 101. Good
Write it
number.
down.
I'm
Someone
writing
I
this
wrote
down.
it down. I
Alright.
wrote it down.
PP's write it down.
We can roll back the take on that one.
Hey, if I get it exactly right, sheesh.
All right, fellas, I want to bring up this point real quick. We
Yeah, quick.
see the Yankees, especially the Yankees, bring in these big name players, huge names, spending tons of bucks on them. Is there tanking happening in baseball?
No.
Let me give you a little backstory on that.
Okay.
I was having a conversation with a source, aka my boss. Shout out Brian. And we're talking about the Tigers, and I asked him is he looking forward to watching the Tigers winning 40 games? He's like, dude, I think they're gonna win way more than that. I'm like, why? They're awful. He's like, dude, everyone in the MLB, there's at least 15 teams that are trying to tank. Tigers are gonna at least win more than 40. I was kind of thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, it makes sense. And I bring it up to you guys. What do you guys think?
Tanking is a concept that I think we see in the NBA, and it works in the NBA in my opinion. There's value in the NBA because, first of all, there's only 2 rounds, and generally when you tank and you get a lottery pick, you're nearly guaranteed to have a starter or a role player on your team in the near future. Difference with baseball is that there really is no benefit to actually tanking. the draft is set up so much differently, where you're not really guaranteed much of anything by tanking and having what you might consider to be a lottery pick in baseball. There's so many rounds, lots of toss-ups, lots of what you call prospects that you're just waiting to develop in the lower divisions, and there really isn't as much of a benefit there.
Right, Wes. I totally agree. I consider myself a pretty big Tigers fan, and they have the number one pick in this year's draft, and who knew? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not nearly as big of a deal. I think another reason why tanking shouldn't, if it does, it shouldn't exist in baseball, is when I was watching the Tigers being horrible last year, I'd turn on the tape and look at Comerica Park, and at least half, if not 75% of those seats were not filled. Like people are saying, America's pastime is dying out unless your team is relevant. Everybody likes a winner, but if you're trying to watch the Tigers go lose 9-2, nobody's going to want to do that. Nobody's going to pay their money, and it's not good for the organization when you then have to develop your prospect who you could just trade down the line as an asset. He might not even pan out. So I definitely agree there shouldn't be tanking. Pop, you said you kind of contemplated that. What do you think?
I just mean, like, it makes sense. Like, Tigers are trying to lose to get, like, they're selling all their pieces. Because Because that's what they did. And
Okay.
they're selling all their pieces to work on prospects.
Okay,
Okay.
I wouldn't
That's
consider
different.
that tanking. I think that would be rebuilding.
Yeah, I don't think that's tanking either, Pop. I 100% agree with you that there are teams that rebuild and get rid of big contracts, like the Tigers did with J.D. Martinez, letting him go. They traded David Price for prospects. They got Yamir Candelario in a draft, in a trade. I definitely agree that is 100% what they're doing. However, they are not tanking. They're not trying to lose. That doesn't mean they're trying to lose. They're just trying to prepare for the future. You know, I think it's different.
That's fair. But, like, isn't tanking a part of rebuilding?
No, I don't think you need to
Not
lose
as much in
games in order
baseball,
to
no.
rebuild. I don't think you need
Okay.
to lose games to rebuild, Pop. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think you can still win 70 games, but not have those big, like, for instance, a Miguel Cabrera contract. Literally, the Tigers would trade Miguel Cabrera for 3 bats. They honestly would if teams would take his huge contract. But they just can't get rid of it, so they honestly can't fully rebuild until you get rid of these huge contracts. That's why some people thought it was unfortunate, but they traded away Justin Verlander to kind of start that trend. And honestly, good for Justin Verlander. He's a great guy. He's got a beautiful wife. Holy smokes. And he got a ring. So, dude, Justin Verlander. And he's in the warm of Houston. So, dude, he's absolutely living the life right now. He doesn't want to be in Detroit anymore.
Another thing would be baseball is very unique in that you have many avenues for rebuilding. You have so much room to play with money, to get free agents, to acquire prospects. You have the farm system. You have also part of the rebuilding. There's different levels of how you rebuild. You rebuild in pitching. You rebuild in hitting. You rebuild in the front office. You rebuild with a manager. It's just really different. It doesn't have to come through the draft. You can already have the pieces that you need in your farm system or on the trading block to build a team. And I think the best example of that would be the Astros. They were very successful in the past few years with the draft and
Right.
acquiring a few free agent pieces, and of course they won the World Series. So good for them.
Yeah, the Houston Astros are kind of an interesting story because they got Carlos Correa, who was honestly one of the best players in the MLB right now, as the first overall pick. But the year after, they also got the first overall pick in 2013. A man named Mark Appel. He went to Stanford. He was drafted number 1 overall by the Houston Astros. He's out of baseball. He retired already. He was drafted in 2013. Also, some of these guys that you've never heard of, guys like Tim Beckham, Luke Hochevar, even Justin Upton was a number 1 overall pick. Matt Bush, Delman Young. Some of these guys just just didn't pan out. So it's a lot. I mean, sure, number one picks in the MLB don't pan out, but a lot less likely in the MLB. And so I agree that rebuilding is different than say tanking, but it's not as certain as it is in other sports.
Wouldn't that be interesting if the NBA took that same approach instead of letting teams tank? They have like a farm league to get these prospects in, like how the MLB is. I think that would be super interesting to maybe experiment
ex-
with.
Explain a little bit more, Pop.
So like giving the kids out of high school because they already hate the NCAA. Why don't they just sign them to the G League, like, and normalize that? Like normalize that idea of going to the G League is okay, like how it is for high school players, high school baseball players to go to a farm, get drafted, and go to farm league.
Mm-hmm.
I
To
think
me, that wouldn't be sustainable just because you're really only looking for 11 guys. In baseball, you're probably operating with upwards of 40, 45 guys.
right. I mean, it's just a different thought, a different approach. Be interesting.
Yeah, it would be interesting. I think it would bring. So I think it would bring more light to the G League. Like you'd have more talent in the G League, but then you'd lose all this talent in college basketball. But I think this would be interesting because more players would stay the 4 years or the 3 years. Don't you think? And so
Yeah, they would.
as a basketball fan, college basketball fan, you get to know those players. For instance, me at Michigan, you have Mo Wagner, who's been around. I mean, you know Mo. You know, he's been around for a long time. Rockman's a senior. Duncan Robinson's a senior, transferred from Division III. You get to know these guys, but like if you're Pop at Michigan State, you only got to see Jaren Jackson play for 1 year, or at Duke, you're only going to get to see those guys play for 1 year. Marvin Bagley play for 1 year. I think it would be a really, now that I think of it that way, you wouldn't get the talent per se, but you'd get the coaches. It would be more on the coaches to develop that talent, I think.
Yep. Hey, and by the way, Jaren Jackson hasn't declared yet, so chill. Chill.
Hey, Alan, good
What?
luck with that.
Yeah, good luck with that. And my roommate was trying to tell me that Jaren Jackson was going to stick around too, and I had to hit him with a good luck with that as well.
Hey, he just turned 18. I don't think he's ready, man.
He's projected. Last mock draft by Chad Ford, he was number 4. I don't think he's going to pass that up.
Didi was high up there, or Deontay Davis. Do you remember him?
Yeah, he went after 1 year.
He was
Yeah.
projected late first round and then ended up second round. So
He was projected like
Top- top 10.
lottery. Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't think
yeah,
he was top 10.
yeah. And Chad Ford's latest last mock draft before the draft, he was number 12, I think. So yeah,
Yeah, so be ready. Jaren Jackson doesn't want to be second rounder. Stay another year.
a second rounder.
Just
Jaren Jackson's a little bit different of a prospect than Deontay, I think.
And Deontay's doing just fine right now.
Yeah, he's balling actually. He's pretty good.
fair enough.
All right, is that all we got with that, fellas?
Yup.
All right. Westman, you want to hit our PPs with a woke with Westman real quick?
Yeah, I figured since it was opening day, it would only be appropriate to talk about cricket. So this might not be as big of a deal here in the States, but over in Australia, there's been an uproar about a controversy with the cricket national team. So what happened, there was a 5-day event, a match against South Africa, and a captain and some of the other important players on the national team got caught for trying to cheat, trying to tamper with the ball. So the captain, Steve Smith, the vice skipper, David Warner, and they've been banned for a year for ball tampering. So they got caught for planning this and trying to carry it out. They were trying to use sandpaper to doctor the ball to create an advantage. And so over there in the Down Under, This is a big deal for them. They've got cricket and they got rugby and they've got kangaroos and they're mad.
For all the peepees over there in the down under, be safe. I know we have one peepee over there.
Shout out Gun.
Shout out.
Shout out Gunner. Come on the pod, Gunner.
True.
But
We'll get Gunner on the pod.
Westman, I appreciate that. I appreciate that update. It's refreshing.
Just a little diversity.
Yeah,
that was
I
a
appreciate
very
that.
good update. Yep. And for our less diverse folks, Westman is not talking about the things you hear at nighttime in the bushes, okay? Not that kind of cricket. We're talking about the baseball type cricket that I don't know that much about, if I'm going to be honest.
There's no foul balls,
Okay.
I think. And there's only 2 bases.
And the matches are called tests. I did learn that.
And they
All
can
right,
be
let's
really
just
long.
explain. Let's just tell the PPs however much we know about cricket. So you use a wooden plank as a bat. You can't bend your arm when you pitch.
Really?
The
Yeah,
ball
you're
hits the
supposed to, like,
ground.
swing. Just hit my door handle.
Oh, you don't have gloves.
No, you don't have gloves?
No gloves.
You
And
score
Jeez,
with
this
wickets.
is a man sport.
Dude, I've seen top plays on SportsCenter top plays, man. I'm pretty sure I could do that. What they're doing out there.
Oh, you think so? Try to hit that ball.
No.
So they don't.
They just catch the stupid ball, West man.
Oh, I could catch it, I feel like.
Right.
No way you could catch that. Come on, guys.
What is
I
it?
get it's
Here,
a hard
here.
ball.
That's like, it's pretty solid. That's like catching a lacrosse ball getting hit off of
No.
a baseball
It's
bat.
not rubber.
No. Not when
Pop,
it's
have you held a cricket ball?
Have you?
No.
hey, not when it's
I'm not talking
sandpaper
about it,
down,
though.
dude. When it's sandpaper
True, sleep on
down,
the
you
sandpaper.
can catch that bad boy.
I don't think cricket's a sport that anyone can just hop in and play.
Hey, Australia, if you need a player, I'm here. I'll hop in and play. Give me a shot.
What's
I can
And
pull
that
off
was-
an Aussie accent.
And that was about all we knew all about cricket right there.
And that was talking cricket.
Yep.
That was fun.
The cricket brought to you by the Prattle.
Yeah, baby.
And anyway, should we get into some NBA real quick?
Oh, let's
Then we
do
can
it,
get into
baby.
our segments.
Let's do it,
Yes,
baby.
please.
All right. So NBA, we're gonna. So we talked a lot about our hometown Pistons. Not really much to say about them anymore, except for their big trade earlier in the season with Blake Griffin. So our little trade predictions, how do those end up for us, fellas?
Yeah.
Well, Wes, I think you and I started by saying it was a bad trade, and then Pop convinced me that it was a good trade. Pop, how dare you?
Wait,
I stood firm.
let me defend myself.
Okay.
I think this trade was not a trade for the right now for the second half of the NBA season, but for the following seasons. I told you guys, Blake Griffin, All-Star, big name, Detroit. He's gonna bring some players with him. He's gonna start recruiting. Say, hey, come play with me and Andre Drummond, two of the best bigs in the league. If they get a good solid guard, that's a darn good team. So
No.
The problem is we were saying that before they got Blake Griffin. If we get a good solid guard, they'll be a pretty good team. They'll be a playoff team.
and they don't have a solid guard right now.
So what did the Blake Griffin trade do?
For the future, Westman. We're
no,
looking
no,
ahead.
no.
We're looking ahead.
No, Pop, you're wrong. No. This is one of the best draft classes to date, okay? The Pistons are not going to make the playoffs. They're 5.5 games out right now. So what are you going to do when you have a lottery pick and you need a guard, as you say, Pop? You just need a good guard, right? We need a good guard. We're going to trade away our number 1 pick for this stupid Blake Griffin trade. And we're going to get rid of Tobias Harris. We're going to get rid of Avery Bradley, which isn't that bad because he only had 1 year left, or the rest of this year left on his contract. That number 1 pick is going to kill us, dude. There are some future superstars in this draft class. Horrible trade, in my opinion.
But listen
Can't
here,
believe I let you change
TCB,
my mind.
would you rather have a rookie guard or a potential all-star guard that's in free agency?
No way. No, there's no way that. No. Who did Blake Griffin? No, Blake Griffin is not going to be recruiting anybody to come. He's not.
He could have a
here's the
reunion with
issue.
CP3.
No.
Here's the issue.
Way.
You're saying a potential free agent, but there's no guarantees with that. You're at least guaranteed somebody with a pick. In free agency, honestly, Detroit is not a very attractive city.
No.
Blake Griffin
Right.
has said that the organization is nice, but do you really want to live in Detroit? You have to attract somebody to go play with you, and I think people will see that CP3 didn't have very much success in Los Angeles with the Clippers with Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan,
Right.
that they're going to kind of see the same situation to Detroit, and it's going to be kind of unattractive for them to see 2 big guys kind of like there was at the Clippers and losing the first round of the playoffs every year.
Yeah, exactly. The Pistons right now are just the Clippers, but without Chris Paul, so no good point guard, and no supporting cast that the Clippers had, and no Doc Rivers as the coach. And they still never reached a conference finals. Okay? Take DeAndre Jordan, put Andre Drummond. Okay, maybe a very slight, minimal upgrade, maybe. Where's the All-Star Hall of Fame caliber point guard? Where's J.J. Redick hitting threes? You know, where's Wesley Johnson coming off the bench? Where's all these guys? The Pistons are going to be bad for a long time, and it's part to do with this trade.
Yeah, so Pop, I think your concept, and I mean, I thought the same thing. I'm not going to lie. I thought, Blake Griffin will come. He'll attract another star player. This is what the Pistons are looking to do.
Yeah.
But I think when you actually look at it deeper instead of in the moment when you see that Blake Griffin's coming to Detroit and we're going to have some crazy dunks, I think the chances are slim. But maybe this take will be reverse as well, and I'll be completely wrong.
Hey,
Hopefully.
and we're hoping for that.
All right, mark my words. Kemba Walker to Detroit Pistons.
No shot. Ooh. Not a free agent till 2019 summer.
That's only a year.
He just became the leading scorer in Hornets franchise history. He's not leaving.
He's sick of not being in the playoffs.
The Charlotte Hornets.
I'd rather live in Charlotte than Detroit by far.
These dudes aren't living downtown Detroit. They're living in Bloomfield.
Okay, I've had enough of this. Last thing we'll say about the Blake Griffin thing.
Yeah.
Kardashian curse.
We'll leave it at that.
Sorry, Blake.
Hey, listen. There's a lot of other big trades that happened this season. One of them being Isaiah Thomas to L.A. Not really working out, at least not as of now. He's out for the rest of the season having surgery. However, the Lakers came out saying that they will be adamant in re-signing him. Producer Deans, what are the Lakers thinking? Don't they already have a point guard?
I want to say that they're not the classic NBA fan hopeful for Isaiah Thomas to get his skill back, because he hasn't played like he did last year, whether it's in the system that he was in. But this is very ballsy to go and re-sign IT. I don't think he's reliable enough. I'm guessing he's going to ask for a lot of money because he went to LA saying he ain't no bench player.
Right.
And he didn't want to sit. So I'm guessing he's going to go in there asking for a big contract. I hope for the Lakers that they don't give it to him, just because they do have a capable point guard right now. I think it's very risky to re-sign IT, especially with all these injuries too.
This plaguing hip injury is huge to me. this goes all the way back to the whole Kyrie Irving requesting a trade. To me, this fall for IT, this fall from Grace, is at a similar magnitude as Derrick Rose. IT was playing at an MVP level, gets dumped from the Celtics, does not work out, has the hip thing, and now it's looking ugly in LA. If just last year, this last summer, if IT had been this free agent this last summer, we would be talking about hundreds of millions of dollars for his contract. Now, if I'm the Lakers, there's no way I'm paying him much more than $10 million a year.
Yeah. Wes, man, I understand where you're coming from because we've got, the injury comparison with Derrick Rose and Isaiah Thomas. However, the quickness of Isaiah Thomas's fall from grace is unprecedented to Derrick Rose's because Derrick Rose could not play. His knees have been devastated. He's not even close to the same player with the same explosiveness. Dude, if you remember how he played, he was above the rim, making just insane layups and dunks, just running past everybody. Isaiah Thomas, no, he didn't use that. That wasn't part of his game, okay? He was a shooter, could come off, and he needed to use his different maneuvering skills in order to not get blocked every time because he's 4 foot tall. It's not even close to the Derrick Rose to me. I think Derrick Rose got absolutely screwed just by getting hurt. I think Isaiah Thomas just isn't that good. I think he just had one good season.
That's exactly what I was about to say with Toby. Isaiah Thomas is 29 years old.
Right.
It's not like he was in his prime. He's like, he had one crazy season, and people jumped on that train.
No, I don't think that's accurate. You don't just become a 30-point average scorer out of nowhere. You have to be an incredible scorer to be able to accomplish that for an entire season.
That's literally what he did, though, Wes. It came out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere because he was young and underestimated because he was short and all that.
No. He was 28 last year.
Right, but like he didn't come out of the draft as someone like a Devin Booker that's expected to score that type of points.
No, you're right. He was the last pick in the draft, and Derrick Rose was the first pick. I think I don't know. I just don't think. I think he had one freakish year, and I think we're not going to expect anything more out of him in the future. Nothing like that at all. That's just what I think.
It was a hoax. Isaiah Thomas is a fraud. Blank, blank.
Isaiah Thomas, if you want to come on the pod and defend yourself, feel free. I know you're listening.
No offense, though. No offense. Sorry if I offended you.
Fellas, do we want to move into our segment?
Let's do it.
Let's do it, baby.
All right. There's this holiday on Sunday.
Oh, is there?
It is called Easter.
Resurrection Sunday?
Shout out Jesus.
Shout out
Jesus.
Shout out Jesus.
Yeah, baby.
My dog.
Shout out Bo. Not to name drop. Anyway, so yeah, would you say Resurrection Sunday? So we're gonna do the big 3 of sports resurrections.
Ooh.
Tell me this isn't our best segment yet.
It might just be, Deans. It might just be.
Credit.
All right, who wants to start?
Credit Westman.
Yeah.
Credit
Westman.
someone on the pod.
Hey,
Not to name
we're
drop.
doing a snake draft, serpentine draft, and I know how to do this. So, one of you guys goes first, and then whoever goes fourth gets another pick
I'll
after
go
that.
first.
You understand me?
I'll go first.
I'll go next.
I'm going last.
All right.
Pop your third.
So my resurrection, it's kind of the Good Friday of this resurrection. Actually, no, it's like the Saturday of this resurrection. The XFL coming back.
It's back.
Coming back.
It's a good pick.
Thank you.
All
That's
right.
all I had to say.
Yeah, Vince
All right.
McMahon with the XFL. I like that. Yeah, Westman.
My pick, and I love this, one of my favorites, Brett Favre.
Ooh.
Infamous for his playing around with retirement. And man, I just loved watching him. And when he came back for the Vikings and almost had that Super Bowl run, that was just fun for me to watch. One of my favorite resurrections.
All right. My first pick is the 2016 Cleveland Cavaliers. Coming down from 3-1 to the Warriors and coming back and winning that title.
They were dead.
They were dead, but you know who brought them back to life?
Who's that?
The King, LeBron James.
All right, we've got 3 good ones so far. TCB, give us another one.
Don't worry. I've got a couple good ones. First, I'm going to start with the 2016 and transitioning into 2017. Los Angeles Rams. St. Louis, formerly St. Louis, now Los Angeles Rams, going from worst to first in that terrible division, having one of the greatest coaches, Sean McVay. Oh, man, dude. Jared Goff, he was resurrected from the grave because, boy, did he have a horrible rookie season. Was an all-pro his second year. Yeah, I'm definitely going with the Rams on this one. And, Pop, you kind of stole my thunder on this one, but I'm going Chicago Cubs. They were
Great
down.
pick.
Thank you. They were down 3-1 to the Cleveland Indians in 2016. And nobody ever talks about that comeback, but boy, was it special. The Cubs coming back, beating the Indians in 7 games. That's my 2 picks, baby.
And TCB with that one, that one's a double decker because that's a resurrection that was 100 years overdue.
Right. Oh, yeah. Listen, I make great picks, Wes. You know this.
All right, my second pick, I'm taking Tiger Woods. It's in the process, boys. He's still in the tomb.
Ooh.
He's still in the tomb.
Yeah,
it's coming.
is.
It's coming soon.
He's peeking out.
It's coming soon. Wait on it. Tiger Woods.
Pop, I like that pick, but that's like more like a living on a prayer.
Yeah.
Oh, we're halfway there kind of thing.
Westman, nice voice. I like that.
Hey, yeah, you're a great singer, Wes, man.
We should have some. We should do
Thank you.
karaoke sometime
Love that.
on the pod.
I'll pass.
Okay.
New segment.
Mine is kind of similar. It's a work in progress so far, but Johnny Manziel, he's entitled his comeback as comeback season. He's worked out for all 32 teams and multiple pro days, and people are saying he looks better now than he did when he came out of college.
People are.
Season.
He's also never gonna be an NFL quarterback.
I love how
you
he's.
know.
I love how he's at these college pro days. Like he's some college prospect, dude.
Right.
Like, dude, you're
Already been in the NFL.
You're a has been, bro. Like,
I know.
come on.
Hey, did you see him leading the quarterbacks in that one video? I don't know if you guys saw that, but he's like,
I did. Oh my.
guys, let's
Alpha.
go out. Right, let's go out and get
Yeah.
them. And I'm like, dude, you're like 25. These kids are fresh. You're a has-been, my friend.
Hey, he's the last quarterback to win a game for the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, that's
Just
that's just embarrassing.
Not something to look past right there.
That's embarrassing.
All right.
Deans.
So my first of the 2 consecutive picks I have, it's a little broad, but I'm going to go with the NBA because there was a stretch there where nobody gave a deuce about the NBA.
True.
But they are
Right.
back and maybe the best professional sport, arguably, right now.
Unpopular opinion: LeBron saved the NBA.
I think that's
Well-
a fact.
What? LeBron was in the NBA when the NBA sucked.
Yeah, what did he do to save the NBA?
Be the best
Be
player
good.
ever.
Okay.
Okay, then.
All right. And my next one, Michigan homer, one of my favorite players to ever come through the system, Trey Burke.
Ooh!
He's finally waking up.
Yes.
He remembered how to play basketball.
Yes. He looked like AI out there for one game, baby.
Uh-huh. And
What,
I
he
actually
dropped like
looked up
41?
Yeah.
42.
42.
42.
So I looked it up just to make sure I had the stats right. And this headline says, Trey Burke scores 42 with Knicks, continues to resurrect NBA career.
Oh, yeah, baby.
So yeah, shout out Trey Burke.
That's a great one, Davis.
Please keep being good.
Come on the pod if you want, Trey.
Yeah, Trey Burke, come on the pod.
All right, my final pick to me, this is textbook, too easy. This would be Super Bowl 51. The Patriots coming back down 28-3 to the Falcons and winning the Super Bowl. Perfect resurrection.
Yep. Well done.
Let's say I'm gonna one up you, and 3 words, baby. Trust the process. Joel Embiid.
Fair.
They're doing it.
Joel Embiid.
Resurrecting,
man.
Philadelphia 76ers.
Hey, they're gonna
Coming
get
back.
LeBron next year. It's wraps. It's wraps.
LeBron's going to the 76ers and the Rockets
Yeah.
and the Lakers.
They're just gonna the NBA
And
is
he's
just gonna
staying in the Cavs.
copy LeBron to every single team, and it's gonna be great.
It'd be good for the product. TCB, you got no one?
Yes, sir. I got another one. Okay. I'm being a little premature. This is probably about Wednesday, okay? We haven't even hit Good Friday yet. However, I think the Cleveland Browns are going to win 6 games this year or more. And
This is a resurrection.
they are my future resurrection pick. Put it on there. Future resurrection
You want
pick.
me to write that down?
Write it down. Okay? I make bold predictions. The Browns are going to go out. They're going to get Josh Allen. At least they better. They might take Sam Darnold. And they're going to take Saquon Barkley because there's going to be 3 quarterbacks taken off the draft. And they're going to have Jarvis Landry on the outside. They're going to have a very improved defense. At least 6 wins. I'm calling it right now. Resurrect that
TCB,
team, dude.
I like that. That's good. That's definitely coming.
Appreciate that.
The stone isn't rolling away yet.
Right.
It's thinking about rolling away.
Mm-hmm.
Great segment, guys.
Yeah,
That was lit.
fellas, that was awesome.
Hey, Deans.
What's good?
Does the lady want to come on and say a few words?
Nah, she's got to study.
Ah, fake.
Respect.
Sorry, no
I
offense.
respect the grind.
No-
I respect
no
the grind.
offense, no offense.
All right, that all we got, fellas?
That's it.
Yes, sir. Hey, I need 1 second. Go-
Okay, let's keep it short. 'cause we're
literally
hitting
1
the
second.
59,
Literally
59.
1 second. 1 second. 1 second. Go Blue.
Go
Blue.
Ramblers.
Oh, shut up.
Ramble on.
Get out of my face.
Get out of my face.
All right. PPs, we kept it under 59-59 for you all. Thank you for tuning in to the best app yet. We appreciate the support and would appreciate some feedback as well. So if you want to hit us up on Apple Podcasts in the review section, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, on social media, this is what we got. TCB, what's your Instagram username?
Prattle _TCB.
Westman, what about your Twitter handle?
At Prattle_Westman, I think.
Pop,
At
how we reaching you?
Prattle_Pops.
How do you spell Pops?
POPS.
Gotcha. And my Twitter username is Prattle_Deans. That's Prattle_DEEDEENS. Send us advice on how to make the show better from your opinion. We're working on giving the best product we can. All in all, we appreciate you guys listening. We'll talk to you again soon. Thanks, PPs.
What, Bob?
Pop, I just did my whole thing.
Like and subscribe us on YouTube.
Hey, yeah, that's true. We got a YouTube channel, baby. Check us out.
What's the channel, TC?
It's The Prattle, okay? The Prattle. Look it up. TCB on that grind. We're going to have all the episodes up. We're going to have new special stuff coming. Subscribe. Let's go.
Get ready,
Giving you
boys.
the best product we can, PPs.
That's right, baby.
Okay.
TCB, how many subs do we have?
We have 7 subs right now, but guess what?
When do we make it?
We made it like 6 hours ago. Let's get it.
Let's get it. Very last thing. I'm on
Yes.
the road tonight at my grandparents' house for Easter. Shout out Grandma and Papa.
Love that.
Hey,
love that.
love that.
Shout out Easter.
Shout out
Hey,
Jesus.
happy Easter, all
Shout
you
out
guys.
Jesus.
Thanks for listening, guys.
PPs, we'll see you later.
Peace.
Adios.